The more hits we play, the more hits we get. URLradio.net, Stacey Sturm, and I am here with Jamie Scott. How is it going today, Jamie?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. Now, you have a very interesting story. Was it a month ago? It was over a month ago.
46 days.
Your husband was killed by a Bismarck police officer when he answered a call, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I've read a little bit in the newspaper about it, and did they do a story on TV about it?
I think they did an original story. I wasn't a part of that. That was right away when it happened.
Okay. I'm surprised by this. But let's kind of piece together. Now, Jamie, what happened that day that Tony Scott was killed? What happened that day?
The day actually was a great day. We spent the day with our friends and went to the zoo, took our son out. It was a great day. He was about to go on outage, so we knew we had to spend some time together. And then
I've seen the pictures of him. He is so freaking cute.
Mac, yeah. He's a little stud muffin and he knows it. Gets me in a lot of trouble. But, during the evening we had gotten into an argument and he started drinking, and, it just kind of set off from there. Mm-hmm. And, he had left, and I took our son and left directly after him. And then, I guess, kind of the next morning I woke up to a nightmare.
Yeah. So when was it you found out about all of this?
About 9:30 the next morning. I didn't have a phone, and so I had went to one of our friend's house to spend the night there. And one of Tony's coworkers had called the phone number and was trying to get a hold of the other coworker to tell him their friend got shot. And he had left me the phone. And so I picked it up and I said, well, what friend? And he's like, Tony.
No, that is how you found out?
That's how I found out.
Oh my God. So his friend was trying to call his other friend, and then you found out.
Right.
Oh my God. Jamie.
Yeah, because he had left the phone for me. It was it was Tony's best friend, and so we had slept on the futon in his living room, and yeah, it's pretty ugly.
Yeah. So was it disbelief? Were you like, there's got to be a mistake?
Yeah.
This can't be right.
It was like shock and numbness, and my son was right there, so like as soon as I said, what do you mean he's dead? And Mac kind of heard, and so I had to go outside, and then I called my mom, and my mom was like, yeah, honey, they've been looking for you to try to talk to you since like 3 o'clock in the morning. They called me, and so they need you to come down to the police station.
Now, Mac is pretty little. He's 4?
Yep, 4.5.
So did he even really know what that means?
He didn't then. I guess we kind of had some people at my house that afternoon, and I was trying to take care of a lot of things. And so that evening I kind of sat him down with Nikki and Desiree and his aunts and uncles and his grandpa, and I said, how your grandpa Steve is in heaven. Daddy went up to heaven to be with him, and he said, when do we get to go to heaven, Mama? When is it our turn? Aww. And he's like, 5 days. In 5 days we can go see Daddy in heaven.
Aww.
So it was really hard.
Yeah, I suppose. So then what's anybody told you? Do you have any idea what happened that night?
No, I know the person's house that he went to. I found out days later, not through the police, but just kind of by checking into things. It was a coworker's house, and I know that he had some beef with him, and from what the police told me, he took a gun there and threatened them, and then he tried to flee, and they shot him.
Now, speaking of this, like, you have a lot of unanswered questions, because what have you? The police report is pretty vague, and the investigation is.
I don't even have a police report.
Oh, you've never even seen a police report?
Nothing. The only thing I've received from the department is from the state agency is the death certificate saying that the cause of death was listed as a homicide, and he was shot with a .223 caliber rifle. That's it.
So I haven't checked into it, but of course, after everything, a police report is supposed to be filed. Is one on file?
They said that I'm not allowed the information until the investigation is complete.
What the hell? Like, that's.
Yeah, frustrating.
Yeah.
When you have to look under the hospital gown of your own dead body's husband to find out whether he was shot in the front or the back, that's going too far, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't have to go through the autopsy in order to find out what the hell happened.
Right, and they won't even give me the autopsy. They denied my request. it's not an issue of what's going on. I think that there's just a little bit of injustice with that. If it was not an officer, I think that they would have been treating me better, you know. They would have been giving me information and keeping me up to date, because that's just what they should do. You know, my dad was a cop. I firmly believe in law enforcement, but the way they've treated us, they've basically treated us like shit.
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
No, absolutely. That's good, probably a good description.
Yeah.
So of course, they have to do an investigation anytime a cop fires his gun. Do you know where that's at this point in time, the investigation?
I was just told last week that it could still be weeks before I get any information.
So, and BCI hasn't told you anything? Nobody's told you anything?
No. The lead investigator of BCI I've talked to him a couple times, and I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago when I asked him again to confirm whether Tony was shot in the front or the back, he wouldn't answer the question.
So then at this point in time, you're just kind of like waiting and hoping somebody gets a report done?
Right. My life is in limbo. I mean, there's nothing I can't file his life insurance policy without a police report. I can't do anything, and we're just kind of waiting.
So have you contacted a lawyer about this?
Yeah, I do have an attorney, and he's just trying to help me get answers. You know, I don't know whose fault it was. I don't know if it was a just shooting, an unjust shooting, because I've been waiting this long. But the fact that they're denying me the information is just really hard for me to say, okay, I'm trusting your process, you know?
Well, and two, it should be more transparent.
Absolutely.
Than it currently is, because the thing that sucks is even if they were justified in shooting your husband, the fact that nothing's being released never looks good.
Right, absolutely. I mean, the woman that got killed here in Bismarck last week, her autopsy is already public information, and that was days ago.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting 46 days later, and I still don't have information. How is that right? You know, like, I asked myself if, and I'm not the same as this woman, but Officer Mosier's wife, do you think that she waited 46 days to find out a single detail about her husband's death?
Right.
Probably not.
No. Yeah. So then where do you go from here? Are you just playing a waiting game or hoping somebody will give you some kind of answers?
Playing a waiting game. I texted the BCI agent again this morning, and at this point, he's not even responding to me. Just because I'm asking questions. I'm trying to be, I want to know.
Well, you have to wonder what the holdup is, because they have to interview maybe everybody at the scene, but that's it.
As far as I know, they're not trying to interview people at the scene. They tried to interview the people that were in the apartment building at where he took the gun, but this is like two different places. You can't see it, but it's around a corner. And the one apartment that he was in is on this side. There's a huge courtyard and complex, and then another apartment building, and then Rosser Avenue. Well, Tony got shot on the other side of Rosser Avenue, right as he was about to hit an empty open field of grass. So they interviewed the people in the apartment that he had the gun, but they haven't tried to interview anybody that could have possibly seen the shooting.
Right.
And their answer to me was, I can't interview people unless I know who they are. So, I responded with, you're the investigator, I'm not.
Right. It's not your job to get names. It's their job to go around and find out what's going on.
Right. And you would think that they would knock door to door if there was a shooting and that's just common sense to me.
Well, if it was anybody else, they would probably run around and see if anybody in that area had seen something.
Absolutely. The first person that I talked to with my private investigator, saw everything and took pictures. So she gave us the pictures, and I said, has anybody been trying to contact you? Have you gotten a door tag, anything? No. And it was directly in front of the shooting. I find that a little bit odd.
Yeah, that is very odd. So now you said your father had worked in law enforcement. Is he currently still alive?
No, he died about 20-some years ago.
Because this would be good to have his input on.
Absolutely. My godfather is recently retired Mandan chief. I'm considering reaching out to him, but it's just so, I just feel lost with all of this.
You can't move on. You can't do anything until a report's done.
Right.
And they've given you no indication of when it's going to be done?
No, none.
So how have you been doing?
Doing all right. I mean, struggling. Everything is a struggle. Yeah. It just seems like my life has just become this nightmare I can't wake up from, I would have never, I can't even believe this is happening.
Has it finally hit you?
No, I don't think it will until I know what happened.
Oh,
They've left us in the dark.
that sucks, Jamie. Well, good luck to you. Hopefully you get some answers soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think that the public's awareness and involvement in this is a big thing because I don't think that people know how we're being treated. And I think if they did, I think that a lot of people would be upset.
And do you have a GoFundMe page?
Yes, we do. It's for our family. My daughter and my stepdaughter is soon to be getting married, and so we kind of had planned on paying for parts of that, and now life is just kind of up in the air.
And you got a little boy too. You got to think about.
Yeah, very cute little boy, strong-willed like his daddy.
So, can they find that information online somewhere? Where can they find the GoFundMe? Do you know? Is it on Facebook or somewhere?
I think it's like support the Scott family victims.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they can find that on the GoFundMe
Yeah.
page. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Jamie, for being on with us today.
Yes. Thank you guys.